Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about how to make them obsessed with you. So the first thing that I want to kind of disclose here is that this sort of thing should be an imaginary game that you do with yourself, that you play with yourself, right? And what I mean by that is that you shouldn't actually really be trying to make someone obsessed with you, right? Especially if it's like an ex or someone that's already rejected you. It's just something that you do that can help you move your life forward, right? And it's something that you use as fuel. Like if you're playing this game, like, okay, I'm going to make them obsessed with me. I'm going to make them really, really regret dumping me or whatever it may be. I'm going to make them regret rejecting me. I'm going to make them obsessed with me, basically. And it's something that you use as fuel to make yourself do better in life. Like it's kind of like the dark side, right? And sometimes it's good to channel that inner anger, that inner kind of upset. That helps you propel you forward. So you kind of like, I'm going to prove them wrong. It's sort of like that sort of thing. You're never going to know, basically, if they're going to regret what they did to you. You're never really going to know if they're going to regret rejecting you and things like that, or leaving you, whatever it may be that they did. Because you don't know what's going on in someone's head, right? There may be a case that they may reach out to you one day and be like, I'm sorry, right? Or whatever, but you don't, right? You don't know that kind of thing. So don't be banking on them actually getting obsessed with you, but you kind of are just pretending in your own head that this is what's going to happen. And it's kind of like a fun game that you play on your own, but you're using that sort of thing as a fuel, as a tool to get better in your own life and to become stronger, right? So the way that you do this is, you got to figure out basically, what do you want in life? Like, what do you want to be? Do you want to be better looking? Do you want to be fitter and healthier? Do you want a certain amount of money? Would you like to have a certain kind of career? Would you like to be living in a certain kind of house in a certain area? What do you really want for your life and for yourself, right? And then you start working towards that, right? And it may be the case that you sort of fake it until you make it, and you sort of just have this attitude of, I'm doing this because I want to make them obsessed with me. I want to make them regret dumping me or regret rejecting me or whatever it may be, right? So it may be the case that you start off from that place, you start off from the dark side, but eventually as you start to move forward in your life and you start to progress and you get on that trajectory of where you are now to where you want to be, and you start making effort towards where you want to be, basically, you start to care about that person less and less, and you start to make new connections, new friends, you get new lovers, and then eventually you just end up forgetting about them. But as you can see, sometimes it's a good tool to use. It's good motivation, basically, to improve your life by using this kind of like dark method of, I'm going to use it. I'm going to try and make them obsessed with me, and I'm going to do all these amazing things, and it's going to show them, sort of thing, right? Sometimes that kind of thing is really powerful. And, but again, it's an internal game. It's not like you're going to be messaging them saying, look at all these things I accomplished. I bet you regret leaving me now, and things like that. You don't want to be doing that sort of thing, right? You want to be doing these sort of things to a place where, you are doing it. You want to get to a place where you are actually doing it for yourself. But sometimes you need that boost. Sometimes you need the kick up the butt. And you know what? This is how I started improving my life in a way. There was a girl that I liked in my early 20s, and I wanted to figure out basically how I could get her to like me back, because she was a bit flaky, and it seemed like one moment she was interested and then the other minute she wasn't interested, and then it got to a point where she just stopped talking to me altogether. And it made me want to seek out information. It made me want to improve my life and get better at dating and relationships, because I didn't understand what happened, right? And because I didn't understand what happened, it made me search for answers. Like, okay, I'm going to look up, how to make someone reattracted to me again. And that's when I started getting into learning about dating techniques and relationship things. And that's how I got good at this, because I managed to sort out these different areas in my own life. And now I feel like I'm at a stage where I can help people that were perhaps at the stage that I was at, right? And help pull them up to where I am, you know. And it was all because I went through a heartbreak. I went from the place of, oh, I'm trying to re-attract this person. I want to make them like me again, you know, which is essentially what you're trying to do basically by, if you clicked on this video, you're trying to make them want you again. You want them to reach out to you. You want them to start dating you. And sometimes you need that darker internal motivation to get you to a better place, right? But again, it's something that you do internally. It's a game, right? It's a game that you're playing with yourself that will help motivate you to do better, to achieve more, to do greater things with your life. Okay? So yeah, it's a bit dark, but it's also, if you're not rubbing it in their face and you're not talking about that, all your accomplishments to them, then it doesn't matter. It's just a tool that you're using to move yourself forward. Okay? So when you do accomplish something though, when you do something that is good for you, or perhaps even when you like meet someone who you think is really good looking, right? Something that you can do to make the people that you've dated, or maybe the women that rejected you, whoever it is, right? Or it could be even teachers that didn't believe in you or something like that, or other people that ex-bosses that didn't believe in you. If you want to say like a good F you to all those people that have hurt you in some way, it could be romantic lovers, it could be other people, then one cool way that you can do that is when you accomplish something, like genuinely accomplish something. So let's say you lift at the gym, right? And you get to a point where you lift weights that at a weight that you've never lifted before, right? Post about it on social media. Just say, great, I managed to lift another 5, I managed to put another 5 kilos on the weight that I was lifting, and I've never been able to lift this heavy before, something, whatever it may be. And then post that on social media. And if it's a romantic thing, then if you meet someone who's really good looking, let's say you're a guy watching this and you got rejected by a woman, that's why you're watching this video. You know, when you go out with your friends, or when you're hanging out with your friends, and you see a girl who's perhaps in this friendship group, or someone that you meet out and they're really beautiful, then post a picture with them. Just say to her, hey, I would really like to take a selfie with you, right? Do you mind? Because I'm having a really good time and I really want to capture the moment. And then she'll most likely, like 9 times out of 10, she'll say yes, and she'll do the selfie with you. And just post that on social media. Like, girls that were once into you, or that are no longer into you, or women that have rejected you, or women that dumped you, are going to see those photos, if you still have them on social media, of course, and they're going to think, what's happening there? Because, you know, women tend to be quite competitive. And I think even if a woman does this, it can still get in the competitive mind of a man as well. Not all the time, but most of the time this works mostly on women. You know, they get really competitive, right? So, you know, but the thing is, you don't want to be posting these things all the time. You know, if you want to, your accomplishments and, pictures with women or guys, whoever you are, right? You don't want to be doing this all the time, right? You want to do this maybe like once every 2 months. Just post a picture of an accomplishment, and then another 2 months go by and you post a picture of someone that you were with on a night out who's really super hot, especially if they're even better looking than your ex or this person that rejected you, or whoever they are, right? Sometimes that can really help, that kind of situation, And again, it's just something that you're doing to motivate yourself to become better, to have a better life, to enjoy yourself, right? And it's just something that makes you feel better about yourself, makes you feel proud about yourself. Now again, it's a darker thing to do, but again, it's something that it's something that you're doing internally. You're not rubbing it in anyone's face, right? I'm not saying that you should send those pictures to your ex. Just post them on social media, right? You don't have to even tag anyone. You don't have to put a caption or anything. Okay? And it's fun, it's interesting, it's something that you're doing with yourself. Like, it's a fun game that you're playing by yourself. It's a one-player game, right? And when you're posting your accomplishments, that's also really cool as well. But you also, and that's helping you become better and become more, right? And getting stronger. But also, you don't want to be rubbing that in people's faces either. Like, don't be saying how, putting on a bravado about how amazing you are. Just be like, this was really cool. That happened to me. You don't have to say, maybe you don't even have to elaborate that much. Okay, you might not have to elaborate at all. Just say, oh yeah, I managed to bench press this. This is the most I've ever done. That's all you have to say. You don't have to say, because the thing is though, when you get into like self-improvement and you start to have a different outlook and you become a lot more positive, it can be really tempting to rub it in other people's faces. And I've definitely been on that plane before, right? So what I mean by that is like when I first started getting into personal development, I'll be like posting quotes, I'll be like, saying about all these different accomplishments that I was doing. And I think it rubbed a lot of people up the wrong way. And now I no longer do that stuff. And I only post now when I have something genuine that I want to celebrate or need to speak about, right? So I hardly post on social media anymore. I may post a couple of stories, but that's about it. So, that's what you got to sort of think of. You got to be doing this. You don't want to be doing this to make other people. You don't want to be. There's a great quote that best describes this, and that is, never outshine the master, and that is from a book. I think it's the 48 Laws of Power, right? And if you feel like you're better than everybody else, and you start putting this across on social media and things like that, it rubs people up the wrong way, right? And you don't want to do that. You don't want to be alienating people. You want people to become interested in you and curious about you, not repel them. So you don't want to be shoving in their faces. You don't want to be doing any of that kind of stuff. Like I said, it's a game that you're playing with yourself. It's something that you're using as fuel to help motivate you to become better. And sometimes you can do that from really dark places, but again, it's something only you know. It's not something that you're posting about. It's not something that you're talking about. You're not going to be saying, posting something like, I'm going to make you obsessed with me because of how all my goals that I'm accomplishing, and all that kind of rubbish, right? I genuinely want for you to have a better life and to have a better lifestyle, right? And sometimes if it takes you some dark energy to propel you to that place, like because you want to make someone obsessed with you or something like that, then by all means, go for it. But it's not like you're shoving it down that person's face, right? And that's essentially what I'm trying to put across here. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally and you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.